Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel called Vintage Sewing Machine Garage. This is the right-hand side, or the hand wheel side, of the Singer 99K that I have been making videos of recently. This is one of the latest machines that I have adopted, or actually not adopted, but rescued for overhaul. And the reason I'm showing you this today is because I've talked many times about how much I like this machine. It is obviously one of my favorites. I have many favorites, but this is one of them. And when you're looking at Singer sewing machines, one of the great things about working on them is that they were designed, with a few exceptions, to be very efficient and sort of accessible to work on. And this was because Singer employed their own service professionals. You could pay to have a service contract to Singer, and they would come out to your home and work on the machine. They usually didn't have that much to do, but they would, check it and clean it or do whatever they did. And anytime adjustments needed to be made, they were rather simple. And that's one of the things that really is great for you and I when we're working on these machines. So I have shown this procedure before on many Singer machines, and perhaps on a 99K. The Singer 99 is the main thing to note here. The K simply means it was made in the Scotland factory that Singer had. So one of the great things that you will note here is there is a bolt, a very giant, strong bolt, and it holds a bracket to the side of the machine. And attached to that bracket is the amazingly high quality plug receptacle, the receptacle for the power plug. And then, of course, the motor itself, right, is attached. I'll make a different video on the motor, but it is all attached together. So the great thing about this is, with this bolt, you can do a number of things. For example, I'm going to turn it here, and I'm going to loosen it. And you do not have to remove the bolt all the way to get movement in your bracket. And you can see me moving it up and down here. So the further down the bracket is, the tighter the tension of the belt. As you come up, you can lighten the tension. So I've made videos before on how to adjust the belt tension on your sewing machine, depending on the model. And so, but what we're doing today is actually not adjusting the tension. Remember, of course, you don't want your tension too tight or too loose. But today, I'm doing this to simply remove the belt. And I'm doing that because, yes, I can try to pull the belt and try to yank it around the pulley, but then that's just going to stretch and put stress on the belt that's not necessary. It could even stress the pulley, possibly. So I'm simply going to bring my bracket up. That is going to give me plenty of loose tension on the belt, and you see it comes right out. And then I can further remove it by bringing it around. I may have to get it to pass the bobbin winder. Usually it's not a problem, and there it is. So the belt is out of the way, and just looking at the belt, it is a V belt. It even says Singer on it. Look at that. Look at that. It says Singer. This belt, now I don't know how old the belt is. I'm not suggesting to you that it's an original belt, but I do find it interesting that it is a Singer belt. In any case, if I bend it, if I put it here, and I go to bend the belt, I might see a little bit of cracking here on the outer edge, right? So the belt is still working fine. When you have a situation like that, you can decide to keep using the belt. You don't want the belt to start shedding, because then it starts sending crumbles of belt all over the place, and that's not something you want. Not good for you, your house, or the machine. So in any case, I may, like I say, I'll take another look at the belt. It may be time to replace it, but it's an easy thing to replace. In any case, back to the motor. So because I want to take the motor back, I want to get behind the motor. I want to inspect it, look at my wire connections, and I suspect we're going to have some dust bunnies and some, who knows what kind of crud might lie behind it. And again, I'm overhauling this machine and going through it completely before I find it a new owner. So I'm going to take the bolt out. Now, many times you'll want to hold the motor. This motor sits very low because the BT motor, that's Bravo Trio, BT is what Singer called this motor, and they had many versions of this over the years. And you will note that many times you will find the original metal washer behind this bolt. Don't lose the washer. The washer helps prevent the bolt from tearing into the bracket. We've got a little bit of paint loss on the bracket, but that's to be expected. You can touch that up if you want, but it's generally, I'm not surprised to see that. Okay, so let's take a look. And when you do this, don't pull the motor and just yank it away, because don't forget, you've got electrical wires attached to it, right? So what am I trying to accomplish here? I want to see, I'm not actually pulling the motor off, because again, it's part of the wire goes, of course, up to the light fixture. And then I have wires back here. And I want to inspect those, right? So do I have, what I see is a bunch of dust and crud here I'll be cleaning off. And look, I even see, if we zoom in a little bit, there's a button that got, who knows where that button, somehow it landed and got stuck here. We'll get that out of there. And I'm going to be cleaning this off, and I'll probably use a combination of just a soft cotton rag. I can, of course, use my cotton swabs if I need to. But I want to take a look and see here. I don't see any broken or cracked wires. Sometimes machines that have been stored in carry cases, as this one was, sometimes they actually survive in better shape than sometimes even the ones you see in the tables. Now I can see something here, and it looks as if, again, being very careful, I don't want to scratch the machine, but I don't want to put any pressure on my wires. It looks here that someone took a piece of rubber from what it came from, I don't know, and then they actually glued it to the base of the motor. And I suspect they did that because this motor is held onto, it's basically hovering in the air, and it's held by this, again, I showed you that big strong bolt, but sometimes the motor might want to rock or tap, and I think they were just doing that to protect the bed of the machine. So I don't know that there's any harm in it per se. And so again, what are we looking at? Right now I see, it looks here, when I look at this, I'm noticing that I can see the light fixture wires. They come into this terminal block as they're supposed to. And then there are two wires that come from the motor. Everything here looks good so fine. This is just a cursory look. I haven't started digging around to see, that's one of the reasons I'll take my cotton swabs. Let's get that light out of our face. And I'll start cleaning the dust gently so that I can see what's behind it. Hopefully there's nothing. And even my light cord looks to be in quite good shape. Always make sure that you inspect cords if you have any doubt. If your cords, if the insulation is cracked or any wire is exposed, do not use the machine. If you yourself feel comfortable, or you know someone who is capable of doing this or replacing wires, you can certainly do that. But I would strongly suggest taking it to a sewing machine shop or professional, someone who is capable of doing that. This is not like you're rewiring your iPhone or something. In terms of how this works, once you understand it, you can do it. Or again, there are shops that know how to wire them. But inspecting a machine when you first get it is really important. So that is essentially how to get some space between your Singer 99K's motor and the body of the machine itself. And I see lots of just old dust built up over the years. But again, that is basically what I love about the fact that these machines are so incredibly simple in this regard. You can get to them. You can get to many of the parts you need to quite easily. All machines will have certain things that make them more challenging than others to work on. But when it comes to a basic, just good old Ironsides straight stitch Singer, again, they made and designed access to the machine to be simple and straightforward and not really time consuming. It didn't take me much time to, now again, restoring a machine and going back, I'll be cleaning the dust out, looking more closely at the wires. And then of course, I've shown this style of Singer motor before, and it is of course designed, I'll be inspecting the brushes and so forth. But I wanted all of you to see, and just a reminder that some vintage sewing machines, you know, not so bad. Getting the motor free and being able to get access behind the motor, pretty simple. Other machines that you've seen me do videos on, you know, it takes more time to get to them. And as we move forward in time, as machines get more fancy or higher tech, and I say that in quotation marks, as they had more features and they changed, they became more complex. That doesn't mean they can't be restored. You know, I've restored many of them, but they take more time and effort to get access to. So if you are thinking about finding an old sewing machine that you want to use, whether you have other new ones or you don't even have a sewing machine, or maybe you're interested in following the hobby that many of us, including myself, have enjoyed in terms of trying to rescue them, to overhaul them. This is one of the many basic straight stitch Singers that I often recommend for those of you who are new to this hobby. By all means, if you have another machine and maybe it's in your family or you just found it, by all means, don't hesitate to try working on it. But if you haven't found a machine yet and you're not sure, you know, gosh, is one machine a better choice than another to start this hobby in? The Salt of the Earth Singer straight stitch machines are, again, one of those that are more friendly to the new person trying to work on a sewing machine. And there will never be enough of us to restore these, because there are just tens and tens of millions of them out there, right? Old sewing machines out there. So, but anyway, if you own a 99, whether it's a 99K or not, makes no difference. Put your comments down there and share, and let me know what you think of your 99, or if you have its bigger sibling, the 66, which is essentially the same machine, only wider. It has a wider throat space, right, or harp space. Put your comments down below and let me know your thoughts. I so appreciate all of you watching, and as I said, I will continue making more videos as I go along the journey of investigating one of my latest rescues, the 99K. Just an incredible machine, and it's such a wonderful, it's a starter model. It's a great starter model for those of you who are new to restoration, or maybe you just want a great, strong sewing machine that's relatively compact. We won't call it lightweight. It's maybe a smaller bowling ball than some of the bigger machines. But back in the day, this is how they made them: big, strong, and heavy. And it's one of the things I love most about vintage machines. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. And again, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so, and click the little bell symbol, which will tell you when a new video is up and coming. See you all soon.